Let's have a look today at how we can generate club head speed and the link between club head speed and weight shift. What I hear all the time is that if you want to create any speed in your golf swing to be able to hit the ball far, you need to make a shift backwards away from the target during your backswing, load up, I think it's called, and then shift back forwards during the downswing. In this video, I want to explain to you and show you how that is not the case and tell you where your real sources of power come from. Let's have a look. So first things first, let's have an example. I'm in position here. I've grabbed a 7-iron from a random bag lying around in the studio, a tailor-made, tour preferred MB with an S300 shaft. So I'm in position here. Tour average of a 7-iron is 91 miles an hour. Let's see if I can get to that with my weight forwards. So I'm setting myself up and I'm nudging my weight forwards. So it's very much on the lead side. And during the backswing, and I'm going to make sure I keep it forwards. Let's see what club head speed we can create. So I'd say that was a relatively balanced standard golf swing for me. And that has gone at 92 miles an hour. So a fraction above tour club head speed with this club in hand. In this video, we have Steve Elkington, who is renowned as having one of the best looking swings in professional golf. And I've drawn a vertical line upwards from the center of his heels, and you can see his shoulder center, his head is perfectly centered, and the hips, if anything, are slightly closer to the target. So he's a good model here for weight 55-45 on the lead foot. Now, the important thing to notice is as he makes his backswing, his head remains in position. It doesn't shift off the ball. And similarly for the hips, and if anything, they are moving closer to the target than they were at the start. So he gets to the top of the backswing and he has his centered shoulder turn, his weight forwards, and that's going to enable him to make good contact with the ball, hit the ball far enough while controlling the curve. And this is the picture you need to have in mind. Centered shoulder turn, weight going forwards, enables you to do all three things, all three functions of the swing. Good contact, hit the ball far enough while controlling the curve. What you need to know is what is helping you create speed in the swing. So first of all, we can use the body as a series of levers. And as we go from flexion to extension, like so, that is one powerful lever. As we go from a side bend left to right, like so, that is a powerful lever. And as we are rotating, that is a powerful lever. So you've got the flexion, extension, the side bend, and the rotation, all contributing to creating club head speed. Furthermore, as you're making your swing, the clubs are built on a tilted angle, like so, the analogy of a pitched roof. And as they're built on a tilted angle, and you take the club back up and in behind you, the more you take the butt end of the club behind you, like so, the more this is creating potential speed and potential angular momentum. So right there, you have major sources of power that we can all use. Furthermore, you could break it down further as the left arm going across the rib cage, the right arm flexing, the left wrist hinging, the rotation of the forearms. All those things are further going to add power. So lots of different sources. Now, why do people talk about the weight having to shift backwards? Invariably, it's because they've looked at pressure plate data. And when you see a golfer in position, the pressure does very often go from lead side over to the trail side as the golfer is taking the club back. Why is this happening? It's happening because as the golfer takes the club back, the left knee is flexing a little bit while the trail knee is extending. As the trail leg extends, that's effectively pushing into the ground, and that's one of the causes why the force plate will spike to the right-hand side very early on during backswing. Is it consequential? I would argue not at all. And if we're talking about weight, as the common person understands it, weight is going to be the displacement of your mass. And what you're thinking about here is actually the hips would actually stay where they are or even go forwards towards the target. They wouldn't actually shift backwards. As soon as the hips and head shift backwards, which is what happens to golfers when they're told to make the pressure shift go to the right, or when they're told to load up on the right hand side, that is invariably followed by both the hip center and the shoulder moving backwards away from the target. Once those things happen, the golfer is in a very bad spot, because from here they're going to find it very difficult, quite simply, to make good contact with the ball. And guess what? Actually, the most important factor in being able to hit the ball far is making a good strike on the ball. So even before you start to worry about club head speed, the most important thing if you want to hit the ball far is making sure you make good contact. You could have all the speed in the world, if you don't strike the ball cleanly, that club head speed is not going to get transferred into ball speed. Furthermore, if you think of that advice to load up onto the trail side, what happens when you do this is that as you shift backwards, it becomes much harder to rotate the hips. So once I've shifted my hips backwards, I can't really rotate. If I can't rotate the hips, I can't rotate the shoulders. And if I can't do those two things, I can't actually take the hands back far enough to create potential speed. Whereas when your hips are forwards, like so, it makes it much simpler to rotate your hips. It makes it much simpler to rotate your shoulders. So it makes it much easier to get the butt end of the club to travel further back up and around behind you. Because it's traveled further, you've got more potential for speed. Think of it quite simply like so. Why does a chip not go as far as a full swing motion? It's because you've reduced the motion of the club. So you need to load it in the first instance if you want to be able to maximize your potential distance. So again, anything that is going towards a trail side like this restricts the rotation, restricts the length of backswing. And then what we're going to hear next, you're going to hear that you are not flexible enough, you are not supple enough to make a full backswing. Whereas in reality, all you need to do is make sure there's a little bit more weight on the front side, on the lead side, and from there it becomes much simpler to rotate the hips and the shoulders. So again, just so you have another demo, I'm in position, hips are the most forwards, like so. Let's see what I can create. So high draw, 90.2 miles an hour, and genuinely, I didn't do very much at all. If I wanted to swing faster, I absolutely could do. What would I do? I would start to rotate the hips and shoulders even further, so that I loaded the club further and through to the finish. So what are you trying to do? You're not trying to shift your weight back and shift it forwards, making it very, very chaotic, restricting your range of motion. You're trying to have weight forwards and keep it forwards so you make good contact with the ball, transfer your club head speed into ball speed as a result, and make your full shoulder turn, full hip turn, because you're rotating further forwards around the lead hip. And that one was 92 miles an hour. If you have any questions, then please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the content of the video, then please don't forget to like and subscribe. In that way, you won't miss any of my future tips, and it really helps me to grow the channel. Happy golfing.